The cemetery was quieter than Lily expected for Manhattan. She stood behind an oak tree 50 feet from the graves, close enough to see but far enough to stay invisible. 5 days in New York, and this was the first time she had worked up the courage to come here. Her hands shook inside the pockets of her jacket. November wind cut through the thin fabric, but she barely felt it. All her attention focused on the man in the black suit, kneeling in front of 2 headstones. Anthony Ricchetti, her father. He looked older than the photo she had found online. Gray streaked through his dark hair at the temples, silver against black. His shoulders curved forward as he placed white flowers on each grave. Margaritas. Lily recognized them from blurry memories that felt more like dreams than reality. He was crying, not hiding it, not trying to stop. Just letting tears fall onto expensive suit pants, while 4 men in dark clothes stood at respectful distances. Security, probably. The kind of security that came with being a Mafia boss. Lily pressed her back against the rough bark of the tree. Her chest tightened watching him touch the smaller headstone, the one with her name carved into granite, Lily Marie Ricchetti. Beloved daughter. Gone too soon. She was supposed to be dead. Had been dead for 9 years according to official records. The car accident that never really happened. The bodies they never found, because those bodies were living in Tijuana, while everyone searched the Hudson River for corpses that did not exist. Her mother had orchestrated everything. Rachel Ricchetti, who spent 9 years telling Lily that the man now sobbing over an empty grave was a monster. Violent. Dangerous. Someone they had to escape from or die trying. But monsters did not cry like that. Monsters did not visit graves every single day for 9 years. Lily had been watching for 3 days now, and Anthony came every morning at exactly 7:30, regardless of weather. He spoke to the graves. Lily could not hear the words from this distance, but she saw his lips moving, saw him trace fingers over the engraved names, saw him stay long past when most people would have left. The memory hit her without warning. Being 6 years old, her mother picking her up from school with wild eyes and frantic energy. "We are going on an adventure," Rachel had said. "Do not tell anyone. It is a surprise for your father." Lily had believed her, had climbed into the car excited for whatever surprise awaited, had not understood when they drove straight out of the city without stopping, had not known that she would not see her father again for nearly a decade. The staged accident came 3 days later. Rachel had help, someone Lily never saw clearly. They abandoned the car near the river with enough evidence to suggest it had gone in. Rachel cut and dyed Lily's hair in a gas station bathroom. They crossed into Mexico using fake documents that Rachel had somehow obtained. Tijuana became home. A small apartment with peeling paint and a bathroom that never got hot water. Rachel worked cash jobs, cleaning houses and waiting tables. Lily went to public school and learned Spanish faster than English. They moved every year, sometimes more often. Rachel never explained why they ran, just said over and over that Anthony was dangerous, that he would hurt them if they went back, that this life was better than the alternative. Lily had believed her. What else could a child do? Then came the cancer. Aggressive, spreading fast. Rachel refused real treatment. Too expensive and too likely to put them in the system where Anthony might find them. She tried natural remedies and prayer, neither of which stopped the disease from eating her alive. In the final weeks, drugged on pain medication and facing the reality of death, Rachel confessed everything. "I lied about him," she whispered from the hospital bed in the charity ward. Her voice barely carried over the beeping machines. "Your father never hit me, never threatened us. I left because I was angry, because the divorce was not enough. I wanted him to suffer the way I was suffering." Lily had sat frozen in the plastic chair, not believing what she heard. "I wanted custody. He was going to get it because of his lawyers, his money, his connections. So I took you instead. Made him think you were dead so he would never look." Rachel coughed, blood speckling her lips. "I thought it would make me feel better. It did not. It just made everything worse." "Why are you telling me this now?" Lily asked, numb. "Because you should know the truth. Because you deserve to know your father was not the monster I said he was." Rachel reached for Lily's hand with fingers like bird bones. "He is dangerous. That part is true. He runs the organization his father built. But he loved you. Loved you more than anything. Rachel died 2 days later. Lily was 15, alone in a foreign country with barely enough money for a bus ticket north. She cremated her mother using the last of their savings and sat with the ashes in the apartment for a week, trying to decide what to do. The truth had shattered everything she thought she knew. Her entire childhood built on a lie. 9 years stolen because one person could not handle anger and rejection like an adult. Lily made the decision alone. She would go back. She would find her father. She would see if the man Rachel described in those final confessions was real or just another version of the lies. She used the emergency money Rachel had hidden in a coffee can. Money Lily had not known existed until she found the note after the funeral. She forged documents claiming she was 18, hitchhiked to the border, and crossed using a fake name. Lily Mitchell. Common, forgettable. New York felt like another planet. Too big, too fast, too loud. Everything cost money she did not have. She slept in a youth shelter the first 2 nights, terrified someone would ask too many questions. Then she found the program, Youth Restoration, an organization that placed at-risk teenagers in supervised work programs with partner companies. One of those partners was Richetti Enterprises. Lily had stared at the name on the website for 20 minutes. It felt like fate, or maybe just Manhattan being a smaller world than it seemed. She applied using her fake identity, said she was an orphan, had run from an abusive foster situation in Boston, needed a fresh start. The lies came easier than they should have, but 9 years with Rachel had taught Lily how to survive by hiding truth. The interview was with a woman named Samantha Wells. Red hair, kind eyes, questions that probed without feeling invasive. "Why New York?" Samantha asked, pen poised over application paperwork. "Because no one knows me here," Lily answered. It was the most honest thing she said during the entire conversation. Samantha studied her for a long moment. Then she signed the approval form. "You start Monday. Do not make me regret giving you this chance." Lily nodded, throat tight. "I will not." That had been 5 days ago. Since then, Lily had been gathering courage to do what she came here for. To see Anthony Richetti. To understand who he really was before revealing herself, because the fear lingered. What if Rachel was right about some of it? What if he was dangerous? What if returning from the dead after 9 years made him angry instead of happy? So Lily watched, and what she saw broke something inside her chest that had already been fractured by too many revelations. Anthony stood now, brushing dirt from his knees. He said something to the graves that Lily still could not hear. Then he turned and walked toward the black SUV waiting by the cemetery entrance. He moved like someone carrying immense weight, shoulders tight, head slightly bowed. The security detail fell into formation around him, professional and alert. Lily waited until the SUV pulled away before stepping out from behind the tree. Her legs felt unsteady as she approached the graves. She stood where her father had been kneeling moments before. The flowers he left were fresh, white petals perfect against gray stone. Her own headstone stared back at her. The dates wrong, the death a fiction, but the grief etched into every letter completely real. "I am sorry," Lily whispered to the name carved in granite. Sorry for being alive when he thought she was dead. Sorry for the 9 years of pain. Sorry for everything Rachel had done using Lily as a weapon. She touched the cold stone, fingers tracing her own name. Tomorrow she would start work at Richetti Enterprises. Tomorrow she would be in the same building as Anthony, breathing the same air, existing in the same space for the first time in 9 years that he would remember. And she still had no idea what she would say when the moment came to stop being invisible. The wind picked up, scattering dead leaves across the perfectly maintained cemetery lawn. Lily pulled her jacket tighter and forced herself to walk away from the grave. She had a shelter curfew to make, and missing it would raise questions she could not afford to answer. On the subway back to the shelter, crushed between commuters, Lily pulled out the photo she kept folded in her pocket, the only one she had managed to save from childhood. Her 4th birthday. Anthony holding her on his shoulders while she laughed at something off camera. He looked happy. Young. Unburdened. She wondered if he ever smiled anymore. If 9 years of grief had killed that part of him completely. Monday morning came too fast. Lily stood outside the Richetti Enterprises building at 6:45, staring up at 18 floors of glass and steel. Somewhere in there, Anthony was probably already working, planning whatever Mafia bosses planned, living the life that Rachel had tried to steal Lily from. Samantha met her in the lobby at 7 sharp. "Ready?" she asked, professional smile in place. Lily nodded, not trusting her voice. The elevator ride felt eternal. They got off on the 15th floor, administrative offices. Clean, modern, intimidating in its perfection. "You will be working in filing and cleaning," Samantha explained as they walked through the space. "Keeping the records organized, maintaining the offices. Simple work, but important." "Understood." Samantha stopped outside a door marked Archive. "Few rules. Do not interact with senior executives unless spoken to first. Do not ask questions about business matters. Stay focused on your assigned tasks. Can you do that?" "Yes." "Good." Samantha handed her a key card. "Your shift is 7 to 3, Monday through Friday. Any problems? You come directly to me." Lily took the card, feeling the weight of plastic and lies in her palm. "Thank you for this opportunity." Samantha's expression softened slightly. "Everyone deserves a second chance. Do not waste yours." Then she was gone, heels clicking away down the corridor, leaving Lily alone with a filing system and the knowledge that her father was somewhere in this building above her head. The first day passed in a blur of learning systems and avoiding eye contact. The second day felt slightly easier. By the third day, Lily had established a rhythm. She could almost forget why she was really here, until she found the photo. It was in an old file box, mixed in with corporate documents from 15 years ago. A candid shot of Anthony, Rachel, and baby Lily at some company event. Anthony held infant Lily against his chest, while Rachel smiled at the camera. They looked happy. They looked like a real family. Lily's hands shook holding the photograph. This was what Rachel destroyed. This was what 9 years of lies had cost. She was still staring at the photo when footsteps approached from behind. "That needs to be filed in personnel archives." The voice froze every muscle in Lily's body. Deep, controlled, carrying authority without volume. She turned slowly. Anthony Richetti stood 6 feet away, close enough that she could see the gray in his hair, the lines around his eyes, the wedding ring he still wore despite Rachel being gone. His eyes locked on hers. Dark brown, intense, seeing everything. "What is your name?" he asked. Lily's throat closed. Seconds stretched into hours. She forced words past paralyzed vocal cords. "Lily Mitchell." Anthony went absolutely still. The color drained from his face in real time. His eyes, which had been professional and distant, suddenly focused on hers with terrible intensity. Green eyes. The same shade as Rachel's. The same shade his daughter had inherited. His mouth opened. No sound came out. He stared at her like seeing a ghost. Or maybe something worse than a ghost. Then he turned and walked away without another word, hands visibly trembling at his sides. Lily stood alone in the archive room, heart hammering, the photograph still clutched in her shaking fingers. He had reacted to her name, to her eyes, to something about her that cut through professional distance and struck whatever nerve made a mafia boss lose his carefully maintained control. This was real now. She was not watching from a cemetery anymore. She was standing in his world, carrying his daughter's name, wearing his daughter's face. And she had no idea what happened next. 3 days passed like holding breath underwater. Lily kept her head down, organized files that had not been touched in years, and tried to become invisible. The kind of invisible that made people forget you existed the moment you left the room. It worked on everyone except the security cameras. She noticed new ones appearing on the 15th floor. Small, discreet, positioned to cover angles that had been blind spots before. Someone was watching. Someone wanted to see everything that happened in the administrative section. Samantha appeared on the 4th morning with coffee and questions disguised as casual conversation. "How are you settling in?" she asked, leaning against the archive room doorframe. Lily kept sorting documents, not looking up. "Fine. The system makes sense once you understand the logic. Any issues with the other staff? I have not really talked to anyone." "That's probably smart." Samantha sipped her coffee, eyes assessing. You are doing good work. Better than the last 3 people we placed here. Thank you. Silence stretched between them. Lily could feel Samantha studying her, trying to figure out what did not quite add up. The background story was solid, but something in Lily's behavior must have triggered curiosity. Mr. Ricchetti mentioned you, Samantha said finally. Lily's hands stilled on the file folder. He did? Asked me to keep an eye on you. Make sure you are adjusting properly. Samantha's tone stayed neutral, but question marks hid beneath the words. He does not usually take personal interest in program participants. Maybe he is just thorough. Maybe. Samantha pushed off the doorframe. Or maybe you remind him of someone. The comment landed like a physical blow. Lily forced herself to keep breathing normally, to not react in any visible way. I have a common face, she managed. Your eyes are very distinctive. Samantha studied her for another moment. Green like that is rare. Lily had nothing to say that would not reveal too much. She stayed quiet, pretending to focus on alphabetizing files that were already in perfect order. Samantha left without pushing further, but the interaction rattled Lily for the rest of the day. She was being noticed, being watched, being discussed between Samantha and Anthony in conversations Lily was not part of. The pattern continued. Security presence increased subtly. Cameras multiplied. And Lily caught glimpses of Anthony more often than seemed coincidental for someone who supposedly never left the penthouse floors. He would appear on 15, speak briefly with department heads, then leave, but his eyes always found her, always held a second too long before he forced himself to look away. It was terrifying and heartbreaking in equal measure. He clearly sensed something, but could not identify what. The coincidence of her name combined with her appearance created cognitive dissonance he was trying to logic away. Dead daughters did not return, especially not 9 years later working as file clerks. On the 7th day, Lily stayed late. Most staff left by 4, leaving the 15th floor quiet except for the hum of ventilation systems. She wandered the corridors, mapping the space, looking for pieces of her father's life that might help her understand who he had become. That was when she found it. A door at the end of the east corridor marked simply, storage. It had a basic padlock, the kind that looked secure but was not, if you knew what you were doing. Lily glanced at the nearest camera. It pointed toward the main hallway, not this dead-end section. Blind spot. Probably intentional for whatever was kept inside. Her fingers worked the lock using a bent paperclip, and the skills Rachel had accidentally taught her. When your mother could not remember where she put the house keys twice a week, you learned to get creative with entry methods. The lock clicked open. Lily held her breath and pushed the door. Inside was not storage. It was a personal archive. Boxes labeled with dates stacked on metal shelving. A small desk in the corner with a locked drawer. And on the walls, photographs in simple frames. Lily stepped inside and closed the door behind her. The photos destroyed her. Anthony holding baby Lily in the hospital. Lily's first birthday. Cake smashed everywhere. Her learning to walk while Anthony crouched with arms open. Preschool graduation. Every milestone documented and displayed like a shrine to someone who no longer existed. She moved deeper into the room. The boxes were organized chronologically. She opened one labeled 2016, the year of the disappearance. Inside were Lily's belongings. Her favorite stuffed rabbit, drawings she made in kindergarten, a jacket she had loved with stars on the sleeves, baby shoes preserved in tissue paper. Everything carefully packed and saved as if Anthony thought she might come back someday and want these pieces of childhood. Lily's vision blurred. She picked up the rabbit, threadbare and faded, and pressed it against her chest the way she used to when she was small and scared. The fabric still smelled faintly of the lavender detergent Rachel used before everything changed. 9 years. He kept everything for 9 years. Footsteps in the hallway outside jerked Lily back to reality. She quickly returned the rabbit to the box, closed it, and moved toward the door. The footsteps passed without slowing. Security making rounds. She should leave. Should get out before someone noticed the unlocked door. But one more box caught her attention. Labeled simply, Rachel. Lily opened it. Letters. Dozens of them. Written in Anthony's handwriting. Never sent. All addressed to Rachel. dated after the accident. Lily pulled one out and read, "I know you are gone. I know you are not reading this. But I need to tell you that I am sorry. Sorry for working too much. Sorry for not fighting harder to fix us. Sorry that our daughter will never know how much I loved her. I failed you both. I will carry that until the day I die." Lily read another, and another, each one a confession of grief, regret, love that had nowhere to go. Anthony had written to his dead wife for years, processing pain the only way he knew how. The last letter was dated 3 months ago. "I met someone today, just in passing. She coordinates a youth program we partner with. Red hair, kind eyes. I felt something when she smiled. Guilt, mostly. Guilt that I could feel anything at all when you and Lily are gone. I do not know if I am allowed to be human again. I do not know if I want to be." Samantha. He was talking about Samantha. Lily carefully returned the letters to the box and closed the lid. Her hands shook. Her father was beginning to heal, to feel again, and she was about to explode back into his life and shatter whatever fragile piece he had built. She left the room, locked it behind her, and walked quickly toward the elevators. The building felt too small suddenly, walls pressing in. Outside, cold air hit her face. Lily walked without destination, letting her feet carry her through Manhattan streets while her mind spun. What was she doing? What did she think would happen? She had imagined confrontation, answers, maybe even reunion, but watching her father grieve, seeing the depth of what Rachel's lie had cost him, made everything feel impossibly complicated. Revealing herself could heal him, or it could break him completely. Lily was so lost in thought she almost missed the black SUV pulling up beside her. The window rolled down smoothly. "Miss Mitchell." She stopped, heart jumping. A man in a dark suit sat in the back seat. Not Anthony. Someone else. Older, with sharp eyes and a face that suggested violence lived close beneath the surface. "Mr. Ricchetti would like to speak with you." "Now?" Lily's voice came out smaller than she intended. Now. It was not a request. Lily understood enough about this world to know that refusing would create problems she could not handle. She got into the SUV. The drive took 15 minutes. They went to a building in a different part of the city, upscale but not corporate. Residential maybe, or something pretending to be. The man, who was not Anthony, led her to a penthouse on the top floor. The door opened into a space that screamed wealth without trying. Floor-to-ceiling windows showing the city skyline. Furniture that looked expensive because it was. Art on the walls that might have been originals. Anthony stood near the windows, back to the door. He did not turn when Lily entered. "Leave us," he said to the man who brought her. The door closed. Lily and Anthony were alone. Silence stretched. Lily's pulse hammered in her ears. "Do you know who I am?" Anthony asked, still not turning. "Yes. Do you know what I do?" "I have an idea." "Then you understand that I could make you disappear, that no one would ask questions, that there would be no consequences." Terror spiked through Lily's nervous system, but underneath it, something else. Curiosity about whether he actually would. "I understand," she managed. Anthony finally turned. His face was unreadable, controlled in a way that felt dangerous. "Why did Samantha Wells place you in my building?" "It was random assignment, part of the program." "I do not believe in random." He moved closer, each step measured. "You show up out of nowhere with a name that makes me feel like I am losing my mind, and I am supposed to think it is coincidence?" Lily held his gaze even though every instinct screamed to look away. "My name is common. I did not choose it to hurt you." That was true. She had chosen it because it was her name, the one thing she refused to change even when everything else was a lie. "Your eyes," Anthony said quietly, stopping a few feet away. "They are the exact shade of green my daughter had. I am sorry. I cannot change my eyes." "No." His jaw tightened. "You cannot." Another silence. Anthony studied her face like a puzzle he could not solve. "How old are you?" 18. The lie felt heavy. "You look younger." "I have always looked young for my age." Anthony's eyes narrowed. He did not believe her. Did not believe anything she was saying, but he also had no evidence to contradict her beyond instinct and coincidence. Samantha says you are doing good work, he said finally. I try to be useful. Why? The question caught her off guard. Why what? Why do you try? Most kids in your situation do the minimum. You go beyond. You stay late. You fix problems no one asked you to fix. Why? Because I need to understand you. Because I need to know if coming back was the right choice. Because I am terrified, and this is the only control I have. I do not have anywhere else to be, Lily said instead. Something flickered across Anthony's face. Understanding, maybe. Pity. The shelter system is brutal, he said. I manage. You should not have to just manage. He pulled out his phone, typed something quickly. I am having an apartment prepared. Secure building, good neighborhood. You will move in tomorrow. I cannot accept that. You can, and you will. His tone left no room for argument. Consider it part of the program benefits. Samantha did not mention housing. I am mentioning it now. Lily opened her mouth to protest and saw the expression on Anthony's face. This was not negotiable. For reasons she did not fully understand, he had decided she needed protection, and he was going to provide it whether she wanted it or not. Thank you, she whispered. Anthony nodded once. A car will pick you up from the shelter tomorrow at 8. Bring whatever you have. Everything else will be provided. Why are you doing this? The question hung between them. Anthony looked at her for a long moment, something broken and desperate moving behind his carefully controlled expression. Because no child should have to survive alone. The car took Lily back to the shelter in silence. She lay awake that night staring at the ceiling, replaying every word of the conversation. He was helping her, protecting her, responding to her existence with generosity instead of suspicion, and he had absolutely no idea who she really was. The apartment Anthony provided was more than Lily had lived in her entire life. Hardwood floors, actual furniture that was not falling apart, a kitchen with appliances that worked, windows overlooking a street where people walked dogs and carried coffee without looking over their shoulders. It felt wrong, like wearing someone else's skin. Lily spent the first night sitting on the couch, afraid to touch anything. Morning came, and she forced herself to get ready for work, using the shower that had endless hot water and the towels that were softer than any clothing she owned. The week settled into routine. Work from 7 to 3. Learning the filing systems until she could navigate them in her sleep. Watching Anthony appear and disappear like a ghost on the 15th floor. Never speaking directly to her, but always aware of exactly where she was. The locked room called to her. Lily had left it alone after that first intrusion, worried that pushing boundaries would trigger consequences. But the memory of those boxes, those photographs, those pieces of childhood she barely remembered, pulled at her constantly. On Friday evening, after everyone left, Lily stood outside the storage room door. The building was quiet, except for the soft hum of electronics. Security would be making rounds, but she had timed their pattern, 15 minutes between sweeps of this corridor. The lock opened easily under her fingers. Muscle memory from years of necessity. Inside, nothing had changed. The boxes still sat on their shelves. The photographs still lined the walls. But this time Lily noticed the DVDs. Dozens of them, labeled with dates and events. She picked one at random. Lily, age 3, pizza making. A television and DVD player sat on the desk in the corner. Someone came here to watch these, recently, based on the lack of dust. Lily inserted the disc and pressed play. The screen flickered to life. A kitchen she barely recognized. Bright, clean, full of afternoon sunlight. And there, small enough to need a step stool, stood a little girl with dark curls and a white apron that dragged on the floor. Lily's breath caught. That was her. Actually her. Not a photograph, but moving and alive and real. Anthony's voice came from off-camera. Okay, Piccola. First we add the flour. Can you reach? I can do it! Little Lily's voice high and confident. She grabbed a measuring cup bigger than her hands. Careful. Not too much. I know, Papa. You told me already. The exasperation in her child voice made present-day Lily want to laugh and cry simultaneously. The video continued. Anthony appeared on screen, younger, less gray, genuinely smiling. He guided small hands through the process of making dough, mixing, kneading, shaping. Little Lily talked the entire time, asking endless questions that Anthony answered with patience Lily had not known existed. "When I am big, I will make pizza every day," little Lily announced. Every day might be too much pizza. No such thing. She smacked dough with both hands, giggling when flour puffed into the air. Anthony laughed. Actually laughed. The sound filling the kitchen and the recording in the empty room where Lily stood 9 years later watching her own ghost. The video ended. Lily sat frozen, face wet with tears she had not felt starting. That man, that father, was who Rachel had stolen her from. Not a monster. Not someone dangerous to his own child. Just a dad teaching his daughter to make pizza on a Saturday afternoon. Lily loaded another disc. Birthday party, age 5. The whole thing captured on video. Anthony carrying her on his shoulders while she shrieked with joy. Rachel smiling genuinely before whatever darkness took root in her mind. Cake, presents, family members Lily did not recognize. She watched video after video, each one a piece of the childhood Rachel had erased. Each one proof that the lie had been complete and deliberate. Hours passed without Lily noticing. She was so absorbed in the screen that she did not hear the change in the building's ambient sound. Did not register that someone was accessing security footage in real time. 3 floors up, Anthony sat in his private office staring at a monitor showing the storage room. He had known the moment Lily entered. The alert came directly to his phone, same as last time. But watching her watch those videos, seeing her face illuminated by memories she should not have access to, broke something in his chest that had already been cracked for years. She cried, openly, desperately, touching the screen when the child version of herself appeared, like she recognized something she had lost. Anthony picked up his phone to call security, to have her removed, questioned, possibly arrested for repeated breaking and entering. His finger hovered over the contact. On screen, Lily pressed her palm flat against the television. The video showed Anthony swinging his daughter in circles while she laughed. Present-day Lily's shoulders shook with sobs. Anthony put the phone down. He typed a message to security instead. Storage room on 15. Leave it unlocked going forward. Filing error. The response came immediately. Understood, sir. Anthony turned off the monitor. He did not want to watch anymore. Did not want to see this girl who was not his daughter grieving for a childhood that was not hers to mourn. Except something about the way she touched that screen, the way she whispered words he could not hear, made his certainty waver. He pushed the thought away violently. His daughter was dead. 9 years dead. Grief did not get to create false hope from coincidence, and a stranger with the right name. Lily finally left the storage room near midnight. She returned to the apartment Anthony provided and lay awake until dawn, processing everything she had seen. Her father loved her. Past tense, present tense, probably future tense. That love saturated every frame of video, every carefully preserved toy, every photograph hung with precision. Rachel had destroyed that, deliberately, cruelly. Lily was angry at her dead mother in a way that felt dangerous. Anger that had nowhere to go, no target to confront, no way to be resolved. Saturday morning, Samantha called. "Are you busy? I thought we could grab coffee." Lily almost said no, almost claimed exhaustion or errands. But Samantha's voice carried concern that felt genuine, and Lily was tired of being alone with thoughts that spiraled darker by the hour. Sure. Where? They met at a cafe in Midtown. Samantha arrived with careful energy, like someone approaching a wounded animal. "How is the apartment?" she asked after they ordered. "Better than anything I have had before." Lily wrapped her hands around the coffee cup, absorbing warmth. Mr. Ricchetti surprised me when he arranged that. He does not usually get personally involved with program participants. Maybe I am just lucky. Maybe. Samantha studied her across the small table. Or maybe you remind him of someone, and he is trying to help in the only way he knows how. Lily said nothing. Safer to stay quiet than risk revealing too much. "I ran your background," Samantha said bluntly. "The official one from your application. Ice water filled Lily's veins. And there are inconsistencies. The school you claim to attend has no record of a Lily Mitchell. The foster home does not exist at that address. Your story has holes. Lily's mind raced through options. Deny, deflect, run. I am not going to report you, Samantha continued. But I need to understand who you really are. Because if you are running from something dangerous, I need to know. And if you are lying to get close to Mr. Ricchetti for some other reason, I need to know that too. I am not trying to hurt anyone. Lily's voice came out smaller than intended. Then what are you trying to do? The truth sat on Lily's tongue. Heavy, desperate to be spoken, but fear held it back. Fear that saying it out loud would make everything irreversible. My mother died 2 months ago, Lily said instead. Partial truth, easier to manage. Cancer. We were living in Mexico. She did not have papers. I did not have papers. When she died, I had nothing. No family, no money, nowhere to go. So, you came to New York. I came home. The words slipped out before Lily could stop them. Samantha's expression sharpened. Home? I was born here. Before we left. Before everything. Lily met Samantha's eyes, willing her to understand without explanation. My mother had reasons for leaving. I am not sure they were good reasons anymore. What was your real name? Before Lily Mitchell? I cannot tell you that. Cannot or will not? Both. Samantha leaned back, processing. You are not 18. No. How old? 15. Samantha closed her eyes briefly. Christ. 15 and alone in New York with forged documents. Do you understand how dangerous that is? I survived worse in Tijuana. That does not make this safe. Nothing about my life is safe. At least here I have a chance at understanding where I came from. Lily's voice broke slightly. At understanding who I was supposed to be, before my mother took that away. Silence settled between them. Other cafe patrons talked and laughed, oblivious to the confession happening at the corner table. I am not going to turn you in, Samantha said finally. But you need to be careful. If Anthony finds out you have been lying, that you broke into his personal storage, that you are not who you claim to be, he will make me disappear. Lily finished the sentence calmly. He will consider it. That man protects what is his with terrifying efficiency. And right now, for reasons I do not fully understand, he considers you under his protection. If he thinks you betrayed that, the response will not be gentle. I am not betraying anything. I am just trying to survive. By lying to a mafia boss. Samantha's tone carried no judgment, just statement of fact. By trying to find home in the only place that ever felt like one. Even if I barely remember it. Samantha paid for the coffee and stood. Be careful, Lily. Whatever your real name is, whatever you are really doing here, be extremely careful. Some truths are more dangerous than lies. They parted on the street. Lily walked back to the apartment feeling more exposed than before, but also strangely lighter. Samantha knew she was lying, but Samantha was not turning her in. That evening, Samantha sat across from Anthony in a restaurant he owned but never advertised. The kind of place where business happened between courses and waitstaff knew not to overhear conversations. Thank you for making time, Samantha said, nervous in a way she rarely felt. You said it was about the program. Anthony's attention focused entirely on her. Intense, undivided. Initially, yes. But I am realizing I wanted an excuse to see you outside work. Something shifted in Anthony's expression. Surprise, maybe. Interest, definitely. I am not good company lately, he said. I will risk it, they ordered. Conversation started professional, discussing program logistics and participant progress. But gradually, naturally, it drifted personal. You lost someone, Anthony said. Not a question. My brother. 7 years ago. Gang shooting. Wrong place at the worst time. Samantha's fingers traced the rim of her wineglass. He was 19. Had just started college. Wanted to be a teacher. I am sorry. I spent years angry. At the gangs, at the system, at him for being there. Eventually, I realized the anger was not helping anyone. So I started the program, trying to pull kids out before they ended up like my brother. Anthony nodded slowly. Grief makes us do strange things. You understand that better than I wish I did. He stared at his untouched drink. My wife and daughter died 9 years ago. Car accident. Bodies never recovered, but they are gone. Have been gone. I visit their graves every morning. Have for 9 years straight. People think that is strange. People do not understand loss until it happens to them. No, they do not. Anthony looked up, meeting her eyes. You are the first person in years who has not treated me like I am broken because I still mourn. You are not broken. You are grieving. Those are different things. Are they? Yes. Samantha reached across the table, touched his hand briefly. Broken suggests something that cannot be fixed. Grieving just means you love deeply. That is not a flaw. Anthony's expression cracked slightly, vulnerability showing through carefully maintained armor. I do not know how to stop, he admitted quietly. Do not know how to move forward when they are still everywhere I look. Maybe you are not supposed to stop completely. Maybe you just learn to carry it differently. They talked for hours. About loss, about guilt, about the impossible weight of continuing when part of you died with the people you could not save. When Anthony walked Samantha to her car, he seemed lighter, less burdened. Thank you, he said. For dinner? For seeing me. Not the reputation or the fear. Just me. Samantha smiled. Same to you. She drove away feeling the beginning of something she had not expected. Connection with someone who understood darkness without being consumed by it. Anthony returned to his penthouse and stood at the windows overlooking the city. For the first time in 9 years, the thought of tomorrow did not feel entirely like punishment. Somewhere across Manhattan, Lily lay in an apartment she did not deserve, thinking about videos of a father who loved her and a mother who destroyed everything for reasons that would never make sense. 3 people, 3 different perspectives, orbiting the same truth that none of them could see yet. 10 days into working at Richetti Enterprises, Lily had almost convinced herself that she could maintain the careful balance indefinitely. Keep her head down, do her job, observe Anthony from a safe distance while deciding how and when to reveal the truth. That illusion shattered on a Tuesday afternoon. Samantha had hired a private investigator the week before. Not through official channels, just a quiet inquiry into the background of Lily Mitchell. The inconsistencies bothered her too much to ignore, and if the girl was running from something dangerous, Samantha needed to know what. The investigator was thorough. He checked school records, foster system databases, immigration logs. Most of it came back empty, which was suspicious on its own. But one search returned something that made him call Samantha immediately. I found a Rachel Richetti in the immigration records, he said. Crossed from Mexico into Texas 5 days before your Lily Mitchell showed up in New York. Had a minor dependent with her. Samantha felt her stomach drop. When did Rachel Richetti die? Officially? 9 years ago. But these records are recent. Someone using that name crossed the border 2 months ago. Send me everything you have. The files arrived within the hour. Samantha stared at the documentation, mind racing through implications. Rachel Richetti was supposed to be dead. Anthony's wife, gone in the accident that also took his daughter. But if someone using that name crossed the border with a child, and days later, a 15-year-old girl with green eyes and the name Lily appeared in a program partnered with Anthony's company, Samantha grabbed her phone to call Anthony, then stopped. She needed to talk to Lily first, needed to understand what was happening before involving anyone else. What Samantha did not know was that the investigator had an employee, a young man who handled filing and copied documents for clients, a young man who also happened to be on the payroll of the Albanian Mafia, feeding them information about anyone investigating connections to their rivals. When he saw the name Richetti cross his desk, he photographed everything and sent it directly to his other employer. The Albanians had been watching the youth restoration program for months. It was perfect for their purposes. Anthony Richetti protected those kids, which meant they were leverage, potential targets, ways to hurt a man who was otherwise nearly untouchable. But this was something else entirely. If Anthony Richetti's supposedly dead daughter was actually alive and working in his building without his knowledge, That was information worth its weight in gold. They decided to investigate directly. Lily left work at 3, same as always. She walked the 6 blocks to the subway, lost in thought about the videos she had watched the night before. Another hour spent in that storage room. Another hour of seeing the father Rachel had stolen from her. She did not notice the man following her. Did not register the second man across the street keeping pace. Not until one of them stepped directly into her path. "Lily Mitchell," he said. Accent thick, Eastern European. "We need to talk." Lily stopped, every instinct screaming danger. "I do not know you, but we know you. Know your real name, too. Lily Ricchetti." He smiled without warmth. "Or should we call you the girl who came back from the dead?" Terror spiked through her. "I do not know what you are talking about." "No?" The second man appeared beside her, boxing her in. "You do not know Anthony Ricchetti? Do not work in his building? Do not live in the apartment he pays for?" "I work for a company. That is all. We think you are more than that. We think you are very interesting. And we think you might want to make some money telling us about your father." The word father landed like a physical blow. They knew. Somehow, they knew. Lily bolted. She ran without thinking, instinct taking over. Behind her, footsteps pounded pavement. Shouts in a language she did not understand. She made it 2 blocks before hands grabbed her jacket. Lily twisted, pulling free, but momentum sent her stumbling into a brick wall. Her arm scraped against rough surface, tearing fabric and skin. The men closed in. Then everything exploded into violence. Anthony appeared from nowhere, moving with speed that seemed impossible for someone his size. He grabbed the first man by the throat and slammed him into the same wall Lily had just hit. The sound of impact was sickening. The second man reached for something under his jacket. Anthony was faster. He caught the man's wrist, twisted sharply. Bone cracked. The man screamed. Lily stood frozen, watching her father dismantle 2 armed men in under 10 seconds. This was not the person from the videos. This was someone else. Someone dangerous and efficient and terrifying. Security vehicles screeched to a stop around them. Men in suits poured out, grabbing the 2 Albanians who were now on the ground groaning. Anthony turned to Lily. His eyes were wild, unfocused. Then he saw her bleeding arm, and something shifted. The violence drained away, replaced by concern that looked almost frantic. "You are hurt." His voice came out rough. "It is just a scrape. Get in the car." Not a request. The SUV was there, door already open. Lily got in, because refusing seemed more dangerous than complying. Anthony slid in beside her, already pulling out his phone. "Samantha, I need you at the penthouse immediately." He hung up before she could respond. The drive took 8 minutes. Lily counted every second, hyper-aware of Anthony beside her radiating barely controlled energy. He had not asked if she was okay. Had not asked what the men wanted. Just sat there breathing too fast and staring at her like she might disappear. The penthouse was exactly what she expected. Expensive, cold, overlooking the city like a kingdom. Anthony led her to a kitchen that looked barely used and pointed to a chair. "Sit." Lily sat. He returned with a first aid kit, movements precise but hands shaking slightly. He rolled up her sleeve, examining the scrape with focus that felt excessive for such a minor injury. "This will sting," he said, applying antiseptic. It did sting, but Lily barely felt it. She was too focused on Anthony's face. The concentration there, the care. Like this small injury mattered more than the violence that just happened. He bandaged the scrape with careful attention. Tape placed exactly right. Then his eyes caught on something else. Lily's jeans had torn during the fall, a small rip just above her left knee, exposing a scar about an inch long. Anthony's hands froze. "Where did you get that?" "The scar?" Lily looked down. "I fell off a bike when I was 5. Needed stitches." The color drained from Anthony's face. He stared at the scar like it was a ghost-made flesh. "What is wrong?" Lily asked. "Nothing," but his voice came out strangled. My daughter had a scar exactly like that. Same place, same shape." The moment stretched. Lily could see him processing, trying to make sense of coincidence piling on top of coincidence. Name, eyes, scar. How many similarities before it stopped being random? But dead daughters did not come back. That was impossible. The elevator chimed. Samantha rushed out, concern written across her face. What happened? Are you both all right? Albanian Mafia approached her on the street, Anthony said, still staring at Lily's knee. They knew her name. Knew she worked for me. How would they know that? That is what I intend to find out. Anthony finally looked up at Samantha. Can you stay with her while I handle the interrogation? Of course. Anthony left without another word. Samantha waited until the elevator doors closed before turning to Lily with an expression that demanded truth. My office got broken into 2 days ago, she said quietly. The investigator I hired to check your background. Someone stole copies of his files. Lily's breath caught. What files? Immigration records showing Rachel Ricchetti crossed the border from Mexico 5 days before you appeared in New York. Samantha moved closer. The same Rachel Ricchetti who supposedly died 9 years ago with her daughter. I can explain. I think you better. Samantha's voice stayed gentle but firm. Because right now, the Albanian Mafia knows something about you that made them come after you directly. And Anthony is downstairs torturing 2 men for answers that I think you already have. Lily felt everything crumbling. The careful facade, the planned revelation, the control she thought she maintained. It all fell apart under Samantha's knowing gaze. My name is Lily Ricchetti, she whispered. Not Mitchell. Ricchetti. Samantha went very still. Anthony's daughter. Yes, but you are supposed to be dead. I was never dead. My mother faked the accident. She kidnapped me, took me to Mexico, and made my father believe we drowned. The words came faster now. 9 years of secrets spilling out. I lived in Tijuana. My mother died of cancer 2 months ago. Before she died, she told me the truth, that she lied about everything, that my father was not the monster she claimed. So I came back to see for myself. Samantha sank into a chair, processing. You have been watching him. Yes, and he has no idea who you are. No, Lily's voice broke. I wanted to be sure first. Wanted to know if my mother was right about him being dangerous. But she was not. He is not. He is just broken because of what she did to him. Lily. Samantha said her real name carefully. Do you understand what this means? What this will do to him when he finds out? I know. That is why I have not told him yet. I do not know how to tell him without destroying him. And in the meantime, the Albanian Mafia found out somehow. They are going to use this against him. Samantha stood, pacing. We need to tell Anthony before they do. I cannot. Not yet. Please. You do not get a choice anymore. Those men downstairs are going to talk. They are going to tell Anthony they were sent to investigate his supposedly dead daughter. When that happens, he is going to come up here demanding answers. And I am not going to lie to him. Lily felt tears burning. Give me 2 weeks. 2 weeks to figure out how to tell him myself. Please. Samantha looked at her for a long moment. Then something in her expression softened. 2 weeks, she agreed. But if the Albanians talk first, or if anything happens that puts you or Anthony in more danger, I am telling him everything immediately. Understood? Understood. They heard the elevator. Anthony returned, blood on his knuckles, face grim. They were sent to investigate rumors, he said. Someone told them Anthony Ricchetti's daughter might be alive and working in my building. They wanted to confirm before approaching me with the information. Who told them? Samantha asked. They do not know. The tip came through anonymous channels. But someone knows something, and they are using it to stir up trouble. He looked at Lily. I am increasing your security. Full detail, 24 hours. No arguments. That is not necessary. It absolutely is. Someone is targeting you because of your connection to me. That makes you my responsibility. Lily wanted to scream that she was more than a responsibility. She was his daughter, his supposedly dead daughter standing right in front of him bleeding from a scrape he had bandaged with shaking hands. But she stayed silent, because Samantha was right. The truth was coming whether she was ready or not, and when it did, nothing would ever be the same again. After the attack, after Anthony's hands stopped shaking from bandaging Lily's arm, after he left to interrogate the men who had grabbed her, Samantha stood alone with the girl in the penthouse and felt the weight of everything unsaid pressing down like physical force. "We need to talk," Samantha said quietly. "Now." Lily nodded, face pale. She looked younger than 15 in that moment. Looked like exactly what she was, a child playing a dangerous game with rules she did not fully understand. "I have evidence," Samantha continued, voice measured but firm. "Immigration records showing Rachel Ricchetti crossed from Mexico 5 days before you appeared. The investigator I hired found them before someone broke into his office and stole copies." Lily's breath hitched. "The Albanians. Probably. Which means they know something or suspect something, and that makes you a liability Anthony cannot afford." Samantha moved closer. "So I'm going to ask you one time, and you are going to tell me the truth. Who are you really?" The question hung between them. Lily's eyes filled with tears she had been holding back for weeks. "My name is Lily Ricchetti," she whispered. "Not Mitchell. Ricchetti." Samantha had suspected, had pieced it together from fragments. But hearing it spoken aloud still felt like the ground dropping away. His daughter. Yes, the one who supposedly died 9 years ago. I never died. My mother faked the accident. She took me to Mexico and told me he was dangerous, that he would hurt us if we came back. I believed her until she died of cancer 2 months ago and confessed it was all lies. The words spilled out faster now, desperate. She said he loved me, that she did this out of anger, not fear. So I came back to see if it was true. Samantha sank into the nearest chair, processing. 9 years. Anthony had mourned for 9 years, visited graves every morning for 9 years, kept videos and clothes and memories for 9 years. All while his daughter lived. "Does he know?" she asked, though she already knew the answer. "No. I wanted to be sure first. Wanted to see who he really was before I told him." Lily's voice broke. "I thought I had time. I thought I could just watch and decide. But now the Albanians know and everything is falling apart. You should have told him immediately. I was afraid. What if my mother was right about some of it? What if he was dangerous to me specifically? So you lied instead. Used a fake name, worked in his building. Let him give you an apartment and protection without telling him why you were really here." Samantha's tone carried no judgment, just exhaustion. "Do you have any idea what this will do to him when he finds out? I know it will hurt him. That is why I have not said anything yet. It will do more than hurt him, Lily. It will destroy him. He built his entire life around that grief, around the belief that he failed to protect you. And now you are here, alive, and he does not know." Lily wiped at her eyes. "What do I do?" Samantha thought about Anthony downstairs, probably breaking bones to get answers from men who knew a fraction of what she now knew. Thought about the way he had frozen when he saw Lily's scar, the way his hands shook bandaging a simple scrape. "You tell him," Samantha said finally. "But not today. Not while he is in interrogation mode, and you are still shaking from being grabbed on the street. Then when? I will give you 2 weeks, 14 days to prepare yourself, to figure out how to say it. But if the Albanians move again, or if I think he is about to find out some other way, the deal ends. I tell him everything immediately. Why are you helping me? Because you are a child who got caught up in an adult's terrible choices. And because he deserves to hear this from you, not from me or from enemies trying to use it as leverage." Samantha stood. "But understand this clearly. If you run, if you disappear, if you do anything that makes this worse, I will tell him everything. Are we clear?" "Yes. Say it." "I understand. 2 weeks. Then I tell him myself or you do it for me." "Good." Footsteps approached from the hallway. Anthony returned, blood on his knuckles from interrogation that had clearly been less conversation and more violence. "They talked," he said, voice flat. "The Albanians were sent to investigate rumors. Someone told them Anthony Ricchetti's dead daughter might be alive and working in my building. They wanted to confirm before approaching me directly." "Who told them?" Samantha asked, though she already suspected the answer involved her investigator's office. "They do not know. Anonymous tip through their network. But someone is feeding information, which means someone either knows or suspects something." His eyes moved to Lily, "which makes you dangerous to have around. Not because of who you are, but because of what people think you might be." Lily said nothing. Could not say anything without revealing everything. I am increasing security, Anthony continued. Full detail, rotating shifts, 24-hour coverage. You do not leave that apartment without 2 men minimum. You do not go anywhere I have not approved first. Understood? That is not necessary, Lily protested weakly. It absolutely is. Someone grabbed you on my watch. That does not happen twice. His tone left no room for argument. You are under my protection now. That means something in this world. After he dismissed them, Samantha drove Lily back to the apartment in heavy silence. Only when they were alone in the car did she speak again. He is going to figure it out eventually, she said. The coincidences are piling up too high. Name, eyes, scar. How long before he stops explaining it away as grief playing tricks? I know. Lily stared out the window at the city passing by. I will tell him. I just need time to find the right words. There are no right words for this. But you better find something close. The next days rearranged themselves around that promise. Anthony moved fast. Within 24 hours, he had neutralized the immediate Albanian threat through methods Samantha chose not to ask about. The 2 men who grabbed Lily disappeared into the system. Word went out through channels that touching anyone connected to the youth restoration program meant war. The Albanians backed off. Not permanently, but enough to create breathing room. Anthony made it clear he would trade territory, money, access, whatever it took to keep his protected people safe. It was more than most bosses would offer. It was also more than made logical sense for a girl he barely knew. But Anthony did not operate on logic where Lily was concerned. Something about her bypassed rational thought and went straight to instinct. Protect, guard, keep safe. He could not explain it. Did not try. Just accepted that this was how things were now. Security became Lily's constant shadow. 2 men, always. They did not speak unless necessary. Did not ask questions. Just existed as silent barriers between her and the world. At work, they stood outside the archive room. On the subway, they sat 2 seats away. Outside her apartment at night, they took shifts in the hallway. Lily hated it and needed it at the same time. In between the security and the fear, something else happened. Anthony started pulling her into his orbit more deliberately. It started small. Checking in during lunch to make sure she had eaten. Asking about her day when their paths crossed in the building. Small gestures that felt oversized coming from someone like him. Then it escalated. I am having dinner with Samantha tonight, he told Lily one afternoon. You should join us. That is not necessary, she said automatically. I am not asking if it is necessary. I am telling you that I want you there. She went because refusing felt impossible. The restaurant was quieter than she expected. Private room, single table, candles that made everything feel intimate rather than formal. Anthony was already there when they arrived, reading something on his phone. He looked up as they entered. His expression softened in a way Lily had only seen in the videos. Sit, he said. Both of you. Dinner became a pattern over the following 2 weeks. Sometimes it was the 3 of them. Sometimes just Anthony and Samantha while Lily stayed behind. Aware that something was building between them that had nothing to do with her. She watched them carefully during those shared meals. Watched the way Anthony leaned toward Samantha when she spoke. The way his voice dropped into something gentler when he answered her questions. The way he smiled. Actually smiled. At things she said. You are different with her, Lily observed one night when Samantha had stepped away to take a call. Anthony did not deny it. She sees me. Not the reputation or the fear. Just the person underneath all of it. That matters to you. More than I thought it would. He studied Lily across the table. You understand loss. I can see it in you. The way you hold yourself. Like you are used to things disappearing. My mother died 2 months ago, Lily said. True enough. Even if incomplete. Then you know what it costs to keep breathing after. He paused. Samantha understands that too. Her brother died young. Gang violence. She spent years trying to save other kids from the same fate. Is that why you trust her? I trust her because she does not flinch from difficult truths. And because when I talk about my daughter, she does not look at me like I am broken. The mention of his daughter made Lily's chest tighten. You still think about her. she said carefully. Every day. Every hour. His voice carried weight that years could not erase. She would be your age now. 15. I wonder what she would be like. If she would still love making terrible jokes. If she would argue with me about everything the way she did when she was 6. What happened? Lily asked, even though she knew. Needed to hear him say it. Car accident. My wife was driving. They went into the Hudson River. We never found the bodies, but the blood evidence, the timeline, everything pointed to them being gone. He exhaled slowly. I have spent 9 years wondering if they suffered. If they were afraid. If my daughter called for me while she drowned. The pain in his voice nearly broke her. Lily wanted to reach across the table and tell him right then. Tell him she had not drowned. Had not suffered in that way. Had been alive this entire time. But Samantha was returning, and the moment closed. Later that night, after Anthony had walked them both to their cars, Samantha pulled Lily aside. You are running out of time, she said quietly. He is starting to care about you independent of whatever instinct is telling him to protect you. When he finds out you have been lying this entire time, that care will turn to something much worse. I know. I am working on it. Work faster. The 2 weeks moved like water through cupped hands. Lily tried to write the confession a dozen times. Started letters she could not finish. Practiced speeches that sounded hollow out loud. Meanwhile, Anthony wrestled with ghosts. The scar on Lily's knee haunted him. He thought about it at night when sleep would not come. Thought about the day his daughter fell off her bike. The way she cried but refused to let go of his hand through the entire emergency room visit. 6 stitches. Small scar. Same location as the mark he had seen on this stranger who worked in his building and looked at him with eyes the exact shade of green his wife had passed to their child. He told himself it meant nothing. Coincidence existed. Scars happened. People fell. But the explanation felt thinner each time he repeated it. One night he sat in the storage room on 15, watching videos of his daughter. Paused on a frame of her face at age 4. Then pulled up security footage of Lily from that morning. Side by side, they looked nothing alike. Different ages, different contexts, different lives. But the tilt of her head when she was thinking, the way her mouth curved when she was trying not to smile, the exact arch of her eyebrows when she concentrated. He closed both screens and poured a drink he did not finish. She is dead, he said aloud to the empty room. This is grief. Nothing more. The room did not answer. While Anthony fought with himself, Samantha found herself pulled deeper into his life. Their dinners became longer. Their conversations drifted from work to personal territory more often. He told her about his parents, about the restaurant his father had run as a front for other business, about his mother who pretended not to know the details as long as her husband came home each night. Did you ever want something different? Samantha asked one evening. When Lily was born, yes. I thought about leaving, taking them somewhere quiet. But this life does not let go easily. There are always obligations. He looked at her with something raw, showing through the usual control. If I had known what staying would cost, I would have burned it all down myself. You love them that much. I love them that much, he corrected. Present tense. That does not end. Does it get easier? Some days it feels like a scar that has healed over. Still there, but not actively hurting. Other days it is as fresh as the first morning. No pattern. No warning. You just wake up and it is there again. Samantha reached across the table, touched his hand briefly. You are allowed to feel things again. To want things that are not just about surviving. Am I? Yes. He looked at their hands, his larger and scarred from years of violence, hers smaller and steadier. He did not pull away. I am not good at this, he admitted quietly. At being anything other than what I am. I am not asking you to be different. I am asking you to let someone in. The last time I did that, I lost everything. And if you never do it again, you lose anyway. Just slower. The truth of it settled between them. Anthony lifted her hand to his lips, kissed her knuckles with reverence that felt almost sacred. Thank you, he said. For what? For not giving up on the idea that I might still be human underneath all of this. Samantha drove home that night with the ghost of his kiss still on her skin, and the weight of Lily's secret heavy in her chest. She texted Lily when she got inside. "Time is almost up. Have you decided how you are going to tell him?" The response came back quickly. "Yes. I am writing it down. Everything. He will read it, and then I will be there to answer whatever questions he has." "When?" "End of this week, before the 2 weeks are up." "Good. Because I do not think I can keep this from him much longer. He is starting to ask questions I cannot answer without lying directly to his face. I know. Thank you for giving me this time. Do not thank me yet. This is going to get much worse before it gets better." Lily read the text and knew Samantha was right. But worse was coming regardless. At least this way, she controlled the timing. She pulled out a blank page and began to write. The story started where all stories start, at the beginning. And this time she did not stop until every word was on paper. Saturday arrived cold and clear. Lily dressed carefully, choosing jeans and a sweater that would not draw attention. She braided her hair because leaving it down felt too vulnerable for what she was about to do. The SUV picked her up at noon. Samantha was already inside, expression carefully neutral. Anthony sat in front, speaking quietly into his phone in Italian. He hung up as the vehicle pulled into traffic. "We will be there in 40 minutes, he said without turning around. "The house is empty today. My cousin is out of town." Lily watched the city give way to suburbs, then to spaces between properties that suggested wealth existed here in acres rather than square footage. When they finally turned down a private drive, her breath caught. She remembered this. Not clearly, not with adult precision, but in fragments. The iron gate, the long driveway lined with trees, the house itself, brick and stone, and windows that reflected sky. They parked in front. Anthony got out first, waited for them to follow. "It has been in the family for 30 years, he said. "My father bought it when the business became successful. I lived here with Rachel and Lily before things fell apart." He said his daughter's name without flinching, but Lily saw the tightness around his eyes. They walked to the door. Inside, the house was preserved in a way that suggested someone cared about its history. Furniture that looked original, photographs on walls, rugs that had been there for decades. Anthony moved through the space like a ghost revisiting old haunts. He pointed out rooms with sparse description. Living room, dining area, kitchen where Rachel tried to teach me to cook and gave up after I burned pasta 3 times. Lily followed, heart pounding. She recognized pieces. The curve of the staircase, the chandelier in the entryway that caught light in specific patterns. Then Anthony stopped at a closed door on the 2nd floor. "This was her room," he said quietly. "Lily's. My cousin kept it mostly the same. Said it felt wrong to change it." He opened the door. Lily stepped inside and felt time collapse. The room was smaller than she remembered, but everything else was exactly right. The bed with its canopy. The bookshelf filled with picture books she had loved. The toy chest in the corner still holding stuffed animals. And the walls. The walls were covered in glow-in-the-dark stars that she knew from memory would light up when the door closed. She moved to the window without thinking. Looked out at the backyard where she had learned to ride a bike, where she had fallen and torn open her knee. "The lamp," she said suddenly, voice shaking. "The lamp on the nightstand. It is shaped like a crescent moon." Anthony went very still behind her. "How do you know that? You cannot see it from that angle." Lily turned. The lamp sat on the far side of the bed, blocked by the canopy frame from where she stood. Her mind raced for explanation. "I saw a photo in the office when I was filing. There are no photos of this room in the office files." Silence crashed between them. Samantha stood in the doorway, face pale, knowing they had just crossed a line that could not be uncrossed. Anthony moved closer to Lily. "How do you know about the lamp?" "I guessed. Moon shapes are common for kids' rooms. Do not lie to me." His voice dropped to something dangerous. "You have been lying since you walked into my building, and I have let it go, because I told myself there were explanations. But right now, in this room, you are going to tell me the truth." Lily's breath came too fast. This was not how it was supposed to happen. She was supposed to write it down, supposed to have time to prepare, supposed to control the revelation. But control was illusion. It always had been. I know about the lamp, she said, voice breaking. Because I slept under it for 6 years. Because this was my room. Because I am the person you visit every morning at a grave that should be empty. Anthony stared at her. Color drained from his face in real time. What did you say? My name is Lily Ricchetti. Not Mitchell. Ricchetti. The words tumbled out now, unstoppable. My mother faked the accident. She took me to Mexico. She told me you were dangerous, that you would hurt us if we came back. I believed her until she died and confessed that she lied about everything. He took a step back like she had struck him physically. That is not possible. You are dead. The car, the blood, the investigation, all staged. She planned it for weeks. Had help from someone I never met. We crossed into Mexico the same night you thought we drowned. I lived in Tijuana for 9 years while you visited empty graves. No. He shook his head violently. No. My daughter is dead. This is some kind of con. Some elaborate game to get close to me. To use my grief. I have your daughter's scar. Lily pulled up her jeans. Showed her knee. 6 stitches. Emergency room at Mount Sinai. You held my hand the entire time and told me I was the bravest person you knew. Anthony stared at the scar. His breathing had gone ragged. I have her eyes, Lily continued, desperation bleeding into her voice. Green like my mother's. I know that my favorite food was pizza with extra cheese. That I had a stuffed rabbit named Mr. Floppy. That you used to read me Greek mythology before bed, because I said the gods were cooler than princesses. Anyone could learn those things, research them, find them in records. The video, Lily said. The one where I am 3 years old and you are teaching me to make pizza dough. I tell you there is no such thing as too much pizza, and you laugh. Actually laugh. That video is in a storage room on 15, in a box you do not let anyone touch. How would I know that if I was not her? The last piece hit him like a bullet. He stumbled backward, caught himself on the doorframe. You went through my things. I needed to know if you were the man in those videos or the man my mother described. I needed to see if you had loved me or if that was a lie too. Get out! His voice came out strangled. Anthony? Samantha started. Both of you. Get out. Now. Please, Lily begged. Please let me explain. Let me tell you everything that happened. Why I came back. Why I did not tell you immediately. I said get out. The roar filled the entire house. Lily flinched. Samantha grabbed her arm, pulled her toward the stairs. We are leaving, Samantha said firmly. You call me when you are ready to hear the rest. They made it to the SUV. Security did not ask questions, just drove. Lily sat in the back seat, shaking. Samantha's arm around her shoulders. That was not how it was supposed to happen, Lily whispered. No, but maybe it was the only way it could happen. Behind them, in the house, Anthony Ricchetti stood in his dead daughter's bedroom and tried to remember how to breathe. His phone rang 6 times. He ignored it. Voices called from downstairs, security checking if he needed anything. He told them to leave. When the house was finally silent, he sank to the floor and pressed his hands against his face. 9 years of grief. 9 years of guilt. 9 years of visiting graves, of watching videos, of keeping clothes and toys and memories, because letting go meant accepting they were really gone. And she had been alive. The entire time. Rage hit first. Blinding, consuming rage at Rachel for doing this. At Lily for not telling him immediately. At himself for not somehow knowing, not sensing that his daughter was breathing the same air somewhere in the world. Then came something worse than rage. Hope. Fragile. Terrifying hope that maybe, impossibly, the girl downstairs was telling the truth, that his daughter was alive, that he could have her back. But if she was telling the truth, that meant 9 years of pain had been preventable, meant Rachel had weaponized their child, meant Lily had walked into his building, worked for him, let him protect her, and said nothing. He pulled out his phone, called the one person who might have answers. Samantha. Anthony. Her voice was careful. How long have you known? Silence on the other end. Then quietly, "Since the Albanian attack. She told me after you left to interrogate them, and you said nothing. I gave her 2 weeks to tell you herself. That was the deal. She was supposed to write you a letter, supposed to do this on her terms. What happened today was not the plan. 2 weeks. You have known for 2 weeks that my supposedly dead daughter was alive and you said nothing. She was terrified, Anthony. 15 years old. Told her entire life that you were dangerous. Suddenly alone in a city that is not safe for someone like her. She needed time to be sure. Sure of what? That you were not the man her mother described. That telling you would not put her in more danger. I would never..." His voice broke. "I would never hurt her. She is my daughter. She knows that now. But she did not know it when she arrived. All she had was 9 years of lies and a dead mother's confession." Samantha's voice softened. "She came back because she wanted to find you. Because she hoped Rachel was wrong. Give her a chance to explain the rest." Anthony sat in his daughter's room, surrounded by the childhood Rachel had stolen, and tried to process the impossible. His daughter was alive. Everything else, all the anger and betrayal and confusion, would have to wait, because underneath it all, beneath every other feeling, was the one truth that mattered. His daughter was alive. He did not know how long he sat there. Minutes or hours. Time had stopped meaning anything. Finally he stood, walked downstairs, got into the SUV that had been waiting. "Where to, sir?" the driver asked. "The cemetery." He stood at the graves alone, the 2 headstones that had defined his existence for 9 years. One for Rachel, one for Lily, both lies carved into permanent stone. "You did this," he said to Rachel's grave. "You took her from me, made me think she was dead. Let me suffer for 9 years when she was alive." The stone offered no answers. He turned to Lily's grave, touched the name carved there. "I do not know if you are really her," he whispered. "I do not know if I can trust what I am feeling. But if you are, if you really are my Lily, I need to know everything. I need to understand how we lost 9 years." The city noise faded into background static. He stayed until his phone rang with a call he could not ignore. When he finally left, he did not look back at the graves, could not bear to see his daughter's name on stone that should never have existed. He had decisions to make, questions to ask, a truth to verify beyond what his heart desperately wanted to believe. But first, he needed to go somewhere quiet and figure out how to reconcile the impossible with the real. His daughter was alive. Everything else would follow from that. Anthony did not call for 2 days. Lily went to work, filed documents she barely saw, ate food she did not taste. The apartment he had given her felt like a borrowed stage set, waiting for someone to come take it away. Her phone stayed on the table, screen face up, every buzz making her heart slam against her ribs. None of them were from him. Samantha checked on her twice a day, in person when she could, by text when she was stuck in meetings. "Have you heard anything?" Lily asked on the second evening, sitting at the small kitchen table with untouched tea in front of her. "No," Samantha answered honestly. "He is processing. That is going to take time. Or he is deciding how to make me disappear. He is not going to hurt you," Samantha said. "He is angry, shocked, probably feels like his entire world just flipped. But he is not going to hurt you. He shouted at me to get out. Because he needed space, not because he wanted you gone forever." Samantha hesitated. "You detonated 9 years of grief in one sentence. There is no good way to respond to that. Do you regret giving me the 2 weeks?" Lily asked quietly. "Do you think I should have told him the first day I walked into the building?" "I do not know," Samantha admitted. "Part of me thinks there was never going to be a way to make this easy. Another part thinks every extra day hurt him more. But I am not the one who lived through what you did. You made the best decision you could with what you knew." Lily looked down at her hands. "He might never forgive me. He might not," Samantha said, "because lies would only make the fall worse later. But he might. You gave him something huge, terrible and miraculous at the same time. He gets his daughter back. That changes everything. If he wants me, if he did not want you, he would not have kept your room, your toys, your videos. He would not have visited your grave every day." Wanting you has never been the problem. The third day dawned gray and cold. Lily went to work because she did not know what else to do. Security still escorted her to and from the building, their orders unchanged. In the middle of alphabetizing a stack of contracts, her phone buzzed. Come to the penthouse. Now. No name. Did not need one. Her legs felt oddly numb on the elevator ride. When the doors opened into the penthouse, she half expected to see the room filled with people. Lawyers. Priests. Maybe a firing squad. It was just Anthony. He stood near the floor-to-ceiling windows, hands in his pockets, shoulders rigid. The city sprawled out behind him in muted winter colors. Lily, he said without turning. Her name sounded different now. Heavier. Real. She stepped inside. The elevator doors slid shut behind her with a soft hiss that felt far too loud. Sit, he said. She did not. I would rather stand. He took a slow breath, like he was counting to 10. Then he turned around. His eyes looked like he had not slept in days. There were new lines at the corners, tension drawn tight around his mouth. You wrote a letter, he said. You were going to leave it here. Yes. Why did you not? I wanted to be there when you read it. I did not want you to find out alone. He huffed something that was not quite a laugh. That did not work out. No. Silence stretched between them. The room felt too big and too small at the same time. How much of what you told me in that house was true? He asked finally. All of it. Start from the beginning, he said. Everything. No lies, no omissions, no protecting her memory. If I am going to believe you are my daughter, I need to know exactly what she did. So she told him. About the day at school when Rachel arrived with forced excitement. About the long drive out of the city. The way Rachel kept checking the rearview mirror. About the car left near the river with a few of their things inside. Doll, jacket, car seat. Just enough to make the story believable. About the man Lily never saw clearly who met them on the side road, took the car keys, and drove away with the vehicle that would later be found half submerged. Anthony listened without interrupting. No flinches, no questions. Just that cold, focused stare he used on men he was deciding whether to spare. She told him about Mexico, the tiny apartment in Tijuana, the jobs Rachel worked under the table, the Spanish that came faster than English, the way Rachel would scour the internet for any mention of Anthony, always ready to move again if his name appeared too close to where they were. She told me you were dangerous, Lily said, that you hurt people, that if you found us, you would hurt us too. I have hurt people, he said quietly. Many, but never you. Never her. I know that now. Her throat tightened. I did not then. She described the hospital, the pain in Rachel's voice when she finally admitted the truth. She said she lied about everything, Lily said. That you never hit her. That you never threatened me. That she left because she was angry. Because she could not stand the idea of you winning in court. So she decided to hurt you in the one way she knew would work. By taking me and making you think I was dead. Anthony's hands clenched into fists at his sides. His knuckles went white. She said she regretted it at the end. Lily continued. That it did not make her feel better. That she ruined your life and mine. That if she could do it over, she would have stayed and fought fair. That sounds like her, he said. The words were flat, scraped raw. Proud, stubborn, always wanting to win no matter the cost. Lily told him about Rachel's last days, the way she clung to Lily's hand. The apology that came too late to change anything except the story Lily would carry forward. I cremated her, she said. I scattered her ashes in a little place she liked by the water. Then I found the emergency money she left hidden. Enough for a bus ticket north and a fake ID. Alone, he said. Not a question. Yes, you were 15. Alone. No papers. No protection. I had survived worse in Tijuana. That is not an answer. It is the only one I have. He looked away, paced once across the room, then back. You could have called me, he said. Found some way to reach me. I have resources, connections. One phone call and I could have had you out of there. in a hospital in New York, with the best doctors in the world treating her. She did not want that, Lily said. She was terrified of being found, of you finding her. Even after she confessed, she was afraid of what you might do if you knew where we had been for 9 years, and you listened to her. She was my mother, Lily said quietly. Sick, dying. I did not want to spend her last days fighting. He flinched. So you honored her lies instead and let me bury an empty coffin. I did not know about the funeral, she said. About the graves. About any of it. We did not have access to news outside Mexico most of the time. I did not know you were visiting a stone with my name on it until I came back and saw it with my own eyes. The memory of that first day in the cemetery punched through her again. Anthony on his knees, white flowers on granite, 9 years of grief etched into his posture. What made you come back? He asked. Her confession. The way she said your name at the end. Not with fear. With regret. She said you loved me. That you always had. That stealing me from you was the worst thing she ever did. I wanted to know if that was true. If you were the man she described in those last days or the monster she had painted in the years before. So you forged documents, got into a program that brings you directly into my building, used my charity to get close enough to watch. Yes, and you did not think that was something you should mention before accepting my help. The apartment, the security, the dinners. I was afraid, she repeated. Afraid you would see me as part of what she did, that you would send me away. Or worse. Worse? His eyes flashed. What do you think I am? A man who has killed people, she said. A man who controls half this city from up here. A man my mother told me to fear. I had to see with my own eyes who you really were before I put my life in your hands. And what did you decide? She met his gaze. That you are not the man she described. That you are terrifying and dangerous, but not to me. That you loved me. That you still do. The last part hung there, daring him to contradict it. He did not. Instead, he sank into a chair like his legs had given out. Years seemed to drop onto his shoulders in a single moment. I have visited your grave every day for 9 years, he said slowly. Rain, snow, heat waves, does not matter. Every morning at 7:30, I stand in front of a stone with your name on it and talk to someone I believed was gone forever. I know, she whispered. I saw you. He looked up sharply. You what? When I first arrived, before I went to the program, I found the cemetery. I watched you from behind a tree, 3 days in a row. I saw you kneel. I saw you cry. I saw you talk to the stone. That was when I realized my mother had lied. Not just about you being dangerous. About you not caring. You cared more than anyone I had ever seen. He closed his eyes like the image physically hurt. You let me suffer for 9 years, he said. You let me think you were dead while you were alive. You let me mourn every single day. I did not know you were mourning, she said desperately. I did not know what you were doing, what you thought. I was a child in another country being told my father was a monster. I did not choose any of that. And when you did know, when you stood in that cemetery and watched me, when you walked into my building under a fake name, I panicked, she said. I wanted to tell you immediately. I almost did. In the archive room, when you asked my name and heard it. In the penthouse, when you bandaged my arm. But every time, fear stopped me. Fear that if I told you, I would break you. Fear that you would look at me and see 9 years of lies. Not your daughter. You thought not telling me would hurt less. No, she said. I thought it would buy me time to be sure. To know you as a person, not a myth. To understand the life you lived, so I did not walk into something I could not handle. And in the meantime, my enemies found out before I did. That was never the plan, she said, anger at herself bubbling up. I did not think about how fast information moves. I was stupid. No, he said. You were 15. There is a difference. The anger in his voice had shifted. Less directed outward now, more turned on himself. He stood abruptly, paced to the window, then back. How long has Samantha known? He asked. Since the attack. I told her after you left to interrogate them. She gave you time. She gave me 2 weeks. I did not use them well. He huffed that not quite laugh again. No, you did not. Another silence. The air between them heavy with things that had no words yet. Do you hate me? Lily asked softly. The question had lived in her throat since the moment she said his name in the Westchester house. He looked at her like she had said something absurd. No, he said. I do not hate you. I hate what she did. I hate that you had to lie to survive. I hate that I did not know you were alive when I could have done something. But I do not hate you. Her knees went weak. She grabbed the back of a chair to steady herself. I am angry, he continued. Angry that you did not tell me sooner. Angry that you thought you had to test me like some stranger off the street. Angry that my daughter did not trust me with the truth. I did not know you, she whispered. Not really. I only knew what she said. I had to see for myself. He nodded once. A sharp jerk of his head. I understand that logically. Emotionally, I want to go back in time and shake you until you talk. That seems fair. He almost smiled. It did not quite make it all the way to his mouth. You are very calm for someone who just admitted to lying to a mafia boss, he said. I am not calm, she said. I am just out of panic. He exhaled slowly, some of the tension leaving his shoulders. I need proof, he said. Something beyond stories and scars. DNA, blood tests. I need my head to catch up to what my heart is already screaming at me. What is your heart screaming? Lily asked before she could stop herself. That my daughter is standing in front of me, he said simply. That the universe has played a cruel joke and a miracle at the same time. That if I am not careful, I will break both of us trying to make sense of it. He moved closer. Slowly, like approaching something wild. I want to hug you, he said. More than I have wanted anything in years. But I do not know if that will help or make this worse. Maybe we do not have to know, she said. Her voice shook. Maybe we just try. He hesitated 1 heartbeat longer, then closed the distance. The first touch destroyed her, his hands on her shoulders, heavier than she remembered, larger, calloused from years of work she did not want to imagine. He paused there, giving her a last chance to pull away. She stepped into him instead. His arms went around her in a motion that was half muscle memory, half instinct. He pulled her in like he had in the videos, but tighter, like he never planned to let go again. She broke. The sob tore out of her so violently it bent her forward. Tears soaked into his shirt, hot and endless. Her hands fisted in the fabric, afraid that if she did not hold on, this would dissolve into another dream. He shook too. She felt it, his chest heaving, breath uneven, one hand cradling the back of her head like she was still small enough to fit entirely under his chin. I am here, he whispered into her hair. You are here. You are real. I am sorry. She choked. I am so sorry. I should have come sooner. I should have told you immediately. I should have... Stop. His voice cracked. You survived. You came back. That is all that matters. They stayed like that a long time. Time blurred. The world outside the windows could have ended, and neither of them would have noticed. Eventually, the sobs slowed. Lily's legs went from shaky to merely weak. Anthony did not release her completely, just eased his hold enough to see her face. You look like her, he said quietly. Like me too. But the way you frown... He brushed a thumb over the line between her brows. That is all her. I do not remember her the way you do, Lily said. I remember the last version, sick, angry. Sorry, I do not remember this house or what you were like together. I have videos, he said. Pictures, stories. We will go through them when you are ready. All of them. You deserve to know the part she stole from you. Do you... She hesitated. The question felt fragile. Do you still want me here? In your life? In this... world? I have wanted you here every day for 9 years, he said. That has not changed because I am angry at how you came back. You are not going to send me away. Never. His voice hardened on that word. I let you be taken once. I will not fail you again. She believed him. For the first time since stepping off the bus in New York, some part of her unclenched. A soft knock sounded from the elevator foyer. "It is Samantha," came the muffled call. "Anthony? Lily? Are you okay?" Anthony closed his eyes briefly, then stepped back, keeping one hand on Lily's shoulder like he needed the physical contact to stay grounded. "Come in," he called. The elevator doors slid open. Samantha stepped out, expression fierce and worried at once. Her gaze flicked between them. Red-rimmed eyes, tear tracks, the slight swell of Anthony's chest from uneven breathing. "You talked," she said. "We did," Anthony replied. "And?" He looked at Lily, then back at Samantha. "And I need to know something." "Anything," Samantha said. "How long?" he asked. "Have you been carrying this alone?" She understood he did not mean about Lily existing. He meant about him, about his grief, his anger, his slow, stubborn attempt at being human again. "Since the day I met you," she said, but more consciously for the last few months. "You should have told me when you knew," he said, though there was less accusation now. "I know," she said. "If I could go back, I would probably do it differently. But at the time, all I could see was a girl who had survived something impossible, and a man who had survived something else impossible. And I did not want either of you to break the other by moving too fast." He studied her for a long moment. Then he did something that surprised Lily. He reached out his free hand and pulled Samantha closer, careful not to let go of his grip on Lily. "We are going to need you," he said simply. "Both of us." Samantha smiled through her own tears. "I am not going anywhere." They ended up on the couch, an odd, fragile triangle. Anthony sat in the middle, Lily on one side, Samantha on the other. The city stretched out beyond the glass, unaware that in one penthouse, a family was being painfully, miraculously reassembled. "Practicalities," Anthony said eventually, the strategist in him resurfacing. "We need to fix your papers. Birth certificate, death certificate, school records. The law believes you are dead. We have to undo that without making too much noise." "I can help with that," Samantha said. "I have contacts in social services. They will be shocked. But there are procedures for people declared dead and later found alive. Rare, but they exist. We will use official channels where we can," Anthony said. "And where that fails, we will use mine." "What about school?" Lily asked. The thought of a normal classroom felt alien. "You are going," he said. "You lost too much already. You are not losing your education on top of it. We will find a place that can handle security quietly." Lily thought about kids her age who had spent the last 9 years worrying about grades and crushes instead of border crossings and forged IDs. The idea of sharing a classroom with them seemed surreal. "What about Rachel?" Samantha asked carefully. "What are you going to do about her grave?" Anthony looked toward the window, though it did not face the cemetery. "I am not ready to answer that yet," he said. "I need time to reframe." Lily nodded. "I want to talk about her, all of her, not just what she did at the end." "We will," he promised. "She was more than her worst decision. So are you. So am I." He checked his watch, frowned. "I am canceling all my meetings for the next 2 days," he said. "If anyone complains, they can take it up with security on their way out. You cannot just—" Samantha started. "I can," he said, "and I will. I am not leaving this apartment unless the building is on fire. The world can wait." He looked at Lily again, something almost shy in his eyes. "If you want," he added. "You do not have to stay." "I am not going anywhere," she said. He nodded once, then got up and walked toward the hallway leading to the guest rooms. "Where are you going?" Lily asked. "To get something," he said over his shoulder. "Do not move." He returned with a box Lily recognized instantly, the one from the storage room, the one labeled with her name and a year. He set it on the coffee table, hands gentle. "If we are going to start over," he said, "we do it properly, from the beginning. This is everything I kept, every picture, every drawing, every ridiculous art project you ever brought home. We go through it together." Lily reached for the lid, then stopped. "I thought you said you needed DNA proof," she said. "I do. he replied. We will do the tests. We will sign the papers. We will make the government admit they were wrong. But I am not waiting for a lab report to start being your father again. Her vision blurred. She lifted the lid. On top was a photograph of a toddler with wild curls and frosting on her face, sitting on a kitchen counter, while a younger version of Anthony laughed beside her. Lily touched the image with trembling fingers. Tell me about that day, she said. Anthony did. He talked until his voice went hoarse. About first words, first steps, first time she fell and got up on her own. Samantha listened, adding gentle questions that helped the narrative keep moving. Outside, the sky shifted from gray to dark. Inside, in the warm circle of lamplight, a man, his daughter, and the woman who had bridged the gap between them, began the slow work of stitching 9 lost years into something new. 2 days turned into 6, before anyone outside Anthony's closest circle realized something had changed. He cleared his schedule with the same efficiency he used to move shipments and negotiate territory. Meetings vanished from his calendar. Dinners with politicians and rival bosses were postponed indefinitely. Even the daily cemetery visit stopped. For the first time in 9 years, he did not go to the graves. His world shrank to the walls of the penthouse, to the girl who spent most of her time there now, and to the woman who moved between them like a steadying force. The DNA test came back fast. Money moved doors. A private lab ran the samples without questions. The envelope arrived hand-delivered by one of Anthony's most trusted men. He did not open it alone. He sat at the kitchen island with Lily on his right, Samantha on his left. The man who brought it stood near the door, pretending not to watch, but his eyes kept darting back. Anthony turned the envelope over in his hands once, then twice. The weight felt heavier than paper should. You do not have to open it, Samantha said. You already know. I need my head to catch up, he answered. Feelings are messy, results are not. He slid a letter opener under the seal and ripped it cleanly. The folded sheet inside rustled as he unfolded it. His eyes scanned the page. 1 line. 2. He exhaled, a sound somewhere between a laugh and a sob. 100%, he said, voice unsteady. Biological match. Parent and child. Lily's breath left her in a rush she had not realized she was holding. So that is it? She asked. A piece of paper and suddenly the world accepts what we already knew? The world, Anthony said. No, but I do. He turned to her. Hello, Lily Ricchetti, he said softly. Officially. Hello, Dad, she replied. The word no longer felt like theft. The man by the door cleared his throat. Congratulations, boss. Anthony nodded once. This does not leave this room. Not yet. When I decide who else needs to know, they will hear it from me. The man left without another word. Practicalities came next. Paperwork, lawyers, judges who owed Anthony favors they never expected to be called in for something this personal. There were procedures for people declared dead and later found alive. Rare, but not non-existent. Usually it involved fraud or identity theft. Not a mother who staged her own child's death. The lawyers explained carefully where they could work within the system and where they would quietly push around it. We will start with vacating the death certificate, one of them said. Once the court acknowledges she is alive, we can move to amend records. It will take time. Months, maybe longer. But it can be done. And the grave? Lily asked quietly. That is a private matter, the lawyer replied. The state does not care what you do with a stone. Anthony dismissed them after an hour. His patience for legal language had limits even on the best days. Today, his tolerance was thin. When the door closed behind the last suit, he looked at Lily and Samantha. I want to change it, he said. The stone. Both of them. Not erase them, Lily said quickly. Just make them honest. He nodded. Rachel was not entirely who she pretended to be, but a part of her loved you. That deserves to be acknowledged. And you... He stopped, swallowed. You were never there to begin with. They went to the cemetery together for the first time. Security stayed back, giving them a wide circle of privacy. Samantha walked on one side of Lily, Anthony on the other. The wind cut across the open space, carrying the sharp scent of winter and something softer from the flowers other people had left for their dead. 2 headstones waited where they always had. Rachel's name, Lily's name, dates that now meant something entirely different. Anthony crouched in front of his daughter's grave, ran a hand over the carved letters. "I am sorry," he said. "I am sorry I put you here in my mind. I am sorry I did not fight harder when your mother took you. I am sorry I let this stone define 9 years that you were still living." Lily knelt beside him. "You did not know," she said. "You believed what everyone believed. There was blood. There was a car. There were reports. You are not a god. You do not see everything. I was supposed to protect you, and you tried. You are trying now." He closed his eyes for a moment. When he opened them, they were wet, but clear. "We will replace this," he said. "Not remove it completely. I cannot pretend those 9 years did not happen, but we will change it into something that reflects truth." "What will it say?" she asked. "Maybe nothing," he said. "Maybe it will be blank for a while, a reminder that the story is still being written." They moved to Rachel's grave next. Lily stared at the name. Her mother. The woman who had held her and lied to her, who had stolen her and kept her alive, who had hurt and loved in the same breath. "I do not know how to feel standing here," Lily admitted. "I am angry. I am sad. I miss her. I hate what she did. I feel guilty for hating someone who is not here to defend herself." "You do not owe her simple feelings," Samantha said gently. "She did something unforgivable, and she also raised you and loved you. Those things exist together. They do not cancel each other out." Anthony's jaw worked. "She destroyed me," he said. "She knew exactly what leaving like that would do. But she also gave me you. I cannot pretend she was only one thing." He knelt, placed his palm flat against the cold stone. "I hope you see this," he said quietly. "Wherever you are, I hope you see that we found each other anyway. In spite of you. Because of you. I do not know which yet." Lily reached out and put her hand over his. For a moment, all 3 of them were connected through the name of the woman who had bound and broken them. Later, Anthony would arrange for a new stone. Rachel's would be replaced with one that spoke of complexity. Mother, wife, flawed human being. Lily's would be turned into a memorial, not a lie. A marker for what almost was lost, not what had been. But that day, they left the cemetery with nothing changed but themselves. Back at the penthouse, real life waited. "We need to talk about school," Anthony said that evening over takeout containers spread across the kitchen island. He had tried to convince the chef downstairs to make something, but Lily had asked for cheap Chinese food that reminded her of late nights in small apartments. He had reluctantly agreed. "I have never been to a real American school," she said, picking at noodles. "Not since I was 6. "Then you are overdue. I do not even know what grade I should be in." "We will test you," Samantha said. "See where you are academically, then place you accordingly. Age-wise, you would be in 10th grade. But we can adjust if needed." Anthony frowned. "I do not like the idea of you in a building I do not control." "There are private schools with good security," Samantha replied. "Places used to high-profile kids, children of diplomats, CEOs, people with enemies. And me," Lily said dryly. "Child of a Mafia boss. That will go over well." "No one has to know that part," Samantha said. "On paper, you will be the daughter of a wealthy businessman. That is all." "You are okay with lying like that?" Lily asked her. "I am okay with keeping you alive long enough to figure out who you want to be," Samantha said. "If that means fudging some details on a school application, I will sleep fine." Anthony gave a short nod. "Start looking. Money is not an issue. Safety is. And what about—" Lily hesitated. "Your world. The other one. The part that is not boardrooms and legal fronts. My world," he said slowly, "is not what it was when my father ran it. I have already been moving things toward legitimate operations. Too slowly, apparently. Now, with you here, that process accelerates. You cannot just walk away," she said. "You said so yourself. I cannot vanish without consequences." He agreed. "But I can step back. Delegate. Reduce exposure. There is a difference between being the face of an empire and being the landlord of its legal shells. Samantha watched him, aware of how significant that statement was. Men like Anthony did not give up control easily. "You are doing this for her," she said. "I am doing this for both of us," he replied. "I have spent 9 years with nothing to lose. That is a dangerous way to live. Now I have something again. Someone. That changes calculus." He looked at Lily. "I will not lie and say I can become an honest man overnight. That would be another lie you do not need. But I can promise you this. Nothing from that side of my life will ever touch you if I can help it, and I will work every day to reduce the chances it can." Lily held his gaze. "You cannot promise nothing will ever touch me," she said softly. "You live in a world where bullets do not care about intentions." "You are right," he said. "I cannot control everything, but I can control where I stand when the bullets start flying. You would stand in front of me," she said. "Every time," he answered. Trust did not spring fully formed from those words. It grew, slowly, over the next months. Lily enrolled in a private school on the Upper West Side under the name Lily Wells Ricchetti, daughter of businessman Anthony Ricchetti and partner Samantha Wells. The hyphen was deliberate, a quiet acknowledgement of the woman who had held her hand through the most dangerous part of the journey back. At first, school felt like an alien planet. Kids complained about homework and college applications, and parents who did not understand them. Lily came from a life where worries were measured in border checkpoints, and whether a landlord would change the locks without warning. She was behind in some areas, ahead in others. Math and science came easily. Literature took more work. History felt like reading someone else's life story while living an entirely different genre. The school knew nothing of her real background. On paper, she was a transfer student from an international school in Mexico City. Her Spanish fluency helped sell that story. The security team blended in as drivers and family staff. They were there without being obviously there. Anthony hated it. Every morning when she left, he experienced a spike of panic he tried not to show. Every afternoon when she returned, he breathed easier. It became their ritual. She would drop her bag by the door, kick off her shoes, and find him in whatever room he had claimed that day. "How was school?" he would ask, half teasing, half serious. "Confusing," she would say at first. Loud. Too many people. Too many questions. Over time, the answers shifted. "Annoying. They assigned us a group project and my partner is useless. Interesting. We learned about ancient Rome and I could not stop thinking about how similar it is to your world. Good. I got an A on my biology exam." He kept every report, every grade, every small piece of normal life like he had kept her baby teeth and birthday cards. This time, the boxes would not sit untouched in a hidden room. The organization adjusted too. Some men grumbled quietly about their boss going soft, about meetings delayed because of parent-teacher conferences, about resources diverted to legitimate investments. Others understood. "Boss is thinking long-term," one of his lieutenants said in a bar one night. Before, he was thinking until the next bullet. Different game now. Anthony did not explain himself. He did not need to. Anyone who had seen his face when he walked into a room and Lily looked up and smiled understood enough. The Albanians tested the boundaries once. A minor flare-up on the docks. Nothing major. A container misplaced, a payment delayed. Shots fired more as warning than as declaration of war. Anthony responded with controlled ferocity. Meetings happened behind closed doors. Territory maps were redrawn. A deal emerged that left the Albanians with expanded rights in a port across the river, and Anthony with a written agreement that explicitly listed Lily by name, as untouchable. "If anything happens to her," he told their leader across the table, voice calm and cold, "I will not go after your money. I will not go after your men. I will go after your family, and I will not stop." The man believed him. He signed. When Anthony came home that night, he found Lily asleep on the couch, a textbook open on her chest. Samantha sat in a chair nearby, reading a file. "How bad was it?" she asked without looking up. "Handled," he said. "They will not touch her." "You cannot guarantee that." "No," he said. "But I gave them extra incentive to keep their distance." She closed the file, studied his face. "You look tired." I negotiated with men who think compromise is weakness. I am exhausted. Come sit down, she said. For 5 minutes. Then you can go back to being terrifying. He did. He sat beside his sleeping daughter and watched the steady rise and fall of her chest. She snores a little, he observed. Only when she falls asleep on the couch, Samantha replied. In bed, she sleeps like the dead. He winced at the phrase. She did too. I am sorry, she said. Do not be. Death will always be in the room with us. We might as well learn to joke around it. He turned to her. You saved us, he said quietly. Both of us. If you had told me the day you suspected, I might have pushed her away. Might have thought it was a trick. You gave her time to see me. You gave me time to be someone worth coming back to. I also let you both suffer for longer than you needed to, she said. That is not nothing. It is part of the story, he said. Like everything else, regret does not erase what came after. He reached for her hand. It had become an easy gesture by now, but it still felt significant. I want you here too, he said. Not just as someone who bridges gaps. As part of this. If you want it. This, she echoed, glancing at Lily. You and a teenager and a criminal empire trying to become something else. Something like that. She smiled. I want it. They were not married. Not yet. The idea had been mentioned once, half-jokingly, then left to simmer. They did not need papers to define what was already clear in how they moved around each other. 6 months after Lily first spoke the truth in that Westchester bedroom, the three of them returned to the cemetery. The new stones were in place. Rachel's grave now bore an inscription that read, Rachel Ricchetti, beloved and flawed. Mother, wife, human. May the parts we loved teach us to forgive the parts that hurt. Lily read it twice. Do you think she would be angry? She asked. Probably, Anthony said. She would say I was making her too soft. She was softer than she wanted anyone to see, Lily said. You just did what she could not. They walked to the other stone. Where Lily's name had been, there was now a simple plaque. For the years we thought we lost her. No dates. No more lies. Lily traced the words with one finger. It feels strange, she said. Having a grave for a life I did not live. It is not a grave, Anthony said. It is a marker, a reminder of how close we came to losing this for real. A warning to never take second chances lightly. Samantha stood a few steps back, watching them. She thought of the first day in that coffee shop when a girl asked to sit at her table and claimed to be hiding from bad men. Different story, different city, but the feeling was similar. A moment of kindness that changed everything. Thank you, Lily said suddenly, turning to her, for believing me, for giving me time, for not running when things got messy. That is what I do, Samantha said. Stand in messy places with people who need someone to keep standing. Anthony stepped between them, took one of each of their hands. We go forward from here, he said. No more pretending the past did not happen. No more letting it decide everything either. What does forward look like? Lily asked. School, he said. Therapy. Boring things like debate club if you want it. Me in a suit in fewer warehouses and more conference rooms. Samantha yelling at us when we forget what normal looks like. And dinners, Lily added. Where you tell stories about when I was little and I pretend not to be embarrassed. And fights, Samantha said. Because you are 15 and he is stubborn, and I am not going to let either of you win all the time. And holidays, Anthony said. Real ones. With too much food and noisy people and arguments about nothing. Lily looked at the plaque with her almost grave one last time. Then she turned away from it. As they walked back to the car, she slipped her hand into her father's. His fingers closed around hers without hesitation. Do you ever think about what life would have been like if Mom had stayed? She asked. Every day, he said. But then I remember we are here now. That you are here now. And I think less about what could have been, and more about what we do with what we have. And what do we have? She asked. He squeezed her hand. A chance, he said. And that is more than I thought I would get. The car door closed after them. The city waited, full of dangers and possibilities. The past walked alongside them, but it no longer dictated every step. They were imperfect, wounded, still learning how to be a family in a world that had tried very hard to make that impossible. But they were together. And for people who had lived years believing certain graves were full, that was everything.